Yeah, I know it's football season. We all love football season. Tennessee comes off of a bye week this week, but one of my favorite times of the year, obviously Tennessee baseball. Love fall ball. I'm gonna talk some fall ball today. I'm gonna talk standouts, storylines, which I'm really intrigued by, and we'll talk a little Tony Vitello and these links to the majors. What's the latest? What's the probability of it? Like, share, subscribe. Frank Rock, House of Orange TV. Tennessee's been we're going on about 2 weeks. Fall ball's been going on now, maybe not even quite 2 weeks. Had their first public intra squad this past weekend in Chattanooga. They had another intra squad in Knoxville today. So I'm going to talk that a little bit. And the storyline to me is going to be who is the 9 in the lineup? Because based on what we're seeing, this offense is going to be absolutely loaded this year. Now, and we've seen it each year when they've had these big offenses, guys return. I mean, you think of 2024, how good that offense was. Christian Moore, Blake Burke, those guys were good players coming back, and they took it to the next level. Obviously, same with Kavaris Tears, Dylan Drawling. They had their moments in 2023, not a lot. They didn't play full time, but then look how good they were. You're going to see similar this year as well. And then, of course, you got to factor in your transfers. And could there be some freshmen step up also? To me, so far, your standouts on offense, Blaine Brown, two-way guy from Rice, comes in. Left-hander, he's been the main guy to me. He hit another home run today. He hit well this past week in Chattanooga. It seems like his name's getting mentioned every day on how good he's hitting. He's the main guy. He's going to be somewhere in the outfield. I think Reese Chapman, right field, he's played really good right field the last couple of years when he's played it. He's returning for his senior year. Chapman, to me, is going to be your right fielder. The question to me is, does Brown play center or left? I would think more center, but I've also seen the next guy we'll talk about, Henry Ford, talked about as well in center. Transfer from Virginia, really good hitter. He's going to be the next guy like an Andrew Fisher, a Billy Amick, whose stock propels him up. Fisher obviously became a first-round guy last year, same with Gavin Keelan. I see the same thing happening with Henry Ford. I think he's in line for a big year this year. It's according to where he plays, though. He can play a lot of places. He can play the outfield. He can play third. He can play first. I don't think he plays first because I feel like that's where Levi Clark is going to be. Levi's been playing first, played it again today in the intra squad. Ford's going to be in the middle of that lineup, though. He and Blaine Brown's going to make up half of your top four, in my opinion. I don't see how you don't have those guys up that high in the lineup. Those two guys, though, I mean, I've seen it mentioned with Henry Ford, maybe like Chris Bryant can play the corner infield. He can play the corner outfield. And he can't even play center field. Big pickup. He's going to be big for this team this year. JUCO transfer Tyler Myatt has been hit, and he's had a good fall ball as well. And, you know, the questions with him kind of was, well, where can he play? How's his glove? Based on everything I've read, he's been flashing the leather at third base, and the concerns were definitely not warranted. So, to me, that's your third baseman. Now, it said today he did play some third and some right field. But I'm looking – I think your outfield set with Chapman, Brown, Ford, ever how they choose to align them. Myatt third, Levi Clark first. So that's going to leave your middle infield, DH, and your catcher. Catcher to me is Garrett Wright, Bowling Green transfer. He's hit well, and he's an absolute stud behind the plate too. I think he's at a level that maybe there's not another catcher on this team is at. Maybe not one we've seen in a while as well. You know, Cal Stark, well, I say that Cal Stark was really good behind the plate. You know, Peoples had his moments there as well. But to me, Garrett Wright adds an elite defensive backstop behind the plate. And he's got can hit the ball as well. He's hit good. He had a 2-run tying home run in the intra-squad Saturday where it ended up 7-7. It was 7-5 when he hit it. Now that brings me the middle infield. Where in the world are they going to go with the middle infield? Because you're going to have Chris Newstrom, Manny Marin, Jay Abernathy, Finley Bates, Ariel Antigua, and then some – I've not even mentioned the freshman. Ethan Moore is another one. And that's a bunch of guys that's going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. My initial thought, I say Chris Newstrom, Manny Marin. But, man, they could go so many ways with that. And honestly, I've not heard much about Marin. I've heard about Newstrom. Newstrom seemed to have a good fall camp. I've seen more about Jay Abernathy than I have the other guys, not counting Newstrom. Could you see Chris Newstrom, Jay Abernathy in? And then the DH to me is going to be fascinating. Not talked about Blake Grimmer. That's a dude I'm high on. Now I've seen he's been working some first base. Could he play first and Levi Clark DH? I don't know on that. That's, me thinking out loud with it. But I've really not. Grimmer hit a bomb off somebody last week. I can't remember who it was now. But then you've got freshman Taylor Tracy, a two-way guy out of Texas. Tony Vitello mentioned him this week. He hit a home run in Chattanooga this weekend. Said he's hit like 4 home runs and 15 at-bats. Evan Hankins, big first baseman out of Bristol, Virginia, played at John Battle. I think he ended up moving schools later on. He's hit it well. His name's been mentioned a lot. He's going to be a guy, how do you keep out? There's Ethan Moore in it. Dude by the name of Cash Williams out of Oklahoma. Went back-to-back with Blaine Brown today. Has been really good behind the plate catching. I mean, there's guys I'm going to forget here. That's just the freshman class is loaded and end up number 1 with perfect game. And you're seeing why. They're definitely making some noise here in fall ball. But when it boils down to it, I mean, my opinion is going to change as fall ball is still going the rest of the month and then into spring. It's going to change on how this offense is going to look. But there's some guys right now just don't see how you're keeping out of the lineup. Shifting to pitchers now. These guys have been getting hit a little bit. But it's not a bad thing. They're facing what's going to be one of the best lineups in the country next year. And I've heard it compared to when fall camp starts for football, the defense is oftentimes ahead of the offense. Well, it's a little bit opposite in baseball. When you start out, the offense might be a little ahead of the pitching in that regard. Now, keep this in mind of who we've seen. We've yet to hear of Tegan Coons here. He's been sick recently. From what I understand, he's better now, and he should throw any day now in scrimmages. I'm curious to see that one because, as you guys know, I'm high on him. Dude's got a ton of potential. He to me is your ace this year, Friday night. The fact that he ever got to campus, people overlook that because, they had a short leash on him last year. I don't necessarily think it was warranted. I can sit here and debate that one all day long on it. I could give the examples of it about how they didn't let him work through some moments. He is a guy. We saw it in Cape Cod. He may have an inning where he walks a guy, 2 guys, gives up a hit. So he can work through it. He had some outings where he got hit last year for sure. But if you watched him in the Cape Cod, which is some of the best talent in the summer, they let him keep working. And guess what happened? He kept getting better and better and better. He reminded me in that regard of Drew Beam because Drew Beam would have those innings too. They let him work it. Drew Beam would get better as he went along normally. I think Coons is a better version to me. Throws harder, 4-pitch arsenal. He's got some filthy stuff along the way. I'm curious to see where he is, but I'm curious to see when he faces the lineup, what it's going to look like. Brandon Arvidsson has stood out so far. He threw again today, 2 scoreless innings. In the couple outings I've seen, he's been lights out. Cameron Appenzeller, the highest ranked guy in this class. He's made it in. He's pitched really well. He looks like a candidate for the weekend. Could he be a Sunday guy? What's Arvidsson's role going to be? I mean, to me, I think it would be Arvidsson in the weekend rotation, but it remains to be seen. They've got a lot of options there. Seen Braden Krenzel through today. He's one of just, a few returning guys. And he threw 1 1/3 scoreless, had 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. The question meets the walks. That would get him in trouble last year. He had about a 1-to-1 ratio in the Cape Cod League on that as well. And it was like 12-12 strikeout, or maybe 13-13. It was right at 1-to-1 there as well. Brady Frederick, ETSU transfers, a guy I think is going to be an absolute weapon. He's pitched really well so far. He approaches 90. He's maybe around 90 or so, but he's got that submarine delivery. He's got good stuff. I mean, we saw him last year some, and he pitched pretty good against Tennessee when ETSU pulled the upset down in Knoxville. I mean, looking at him as well, we've seen guys like Mark Hendy who would look really good. He did get hit a bit today, I saw. He gave up a couple runs. Duke transfer. Bo Rudy, Kennesaw State transfer. He'd been good. He got hit a little bit today, it looked like, as well. Gave up a couple runs. Evan Blanco, I've seen, has gotten hit. Some Landon Mack, who was considered, I think, the biggest pickup in the transfer portal window as far as pitchers go. Maybe overall, but definitely pitchers. He's been getting hit a little bit. He's finding out that these boys in Knoxville, this isn't Big Ten baseball that he's facing, but he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. You're seeing these hitters that gives you a chance to adjust. These guys are going up against one of the best offenses that's going to be in college baseball this year. And then, talking freshmen as well. Talk Appenzeller. There's been a dude by the name of DJ Williams out of Georgia. Jackson Estes, a lefty out of Arkansas. He said he's throwing high 90s this weekend. Will we see those guys some midweek? Your two-way guys, freshmen Taylor Tracy, Evan Hankins, have been throwing. They've been getting hit a little bit, but it seems like most of the guys have been. That doesn't concern me when you're facing this lineup. It's going to be that good. I'm just telling you. But I'll be curious when everybody's healthy. And from what I've heard, Anson Seibert's starting to throw a little bit already too. That could be big. That hopefully he'll be ready to go in the springs. He had another surgery coming off Tommy John last year. So hopefully he'll be good to go, can give him some innings. It looks like he'll be good to go sometime in the spring as well. I'm probably forgetting some guys here off the top of my head, but this team's going to compete for a national championship. Looks like they're going to start out with Nicholls State next year, non-conference. But then, you get in, I can't remember the exact weekend, but when they go down to Arlington this year, they kind of alternating back and forth each year from Houston to Arlington. But they're playing UCLA, who I've seen is a good possibility. He's going to be preseason number one. We're going to play Virginia Tech. And if I'm not mistaken, Arizona State is the third one. So that's going to be a good test for this team as well. But don't envy the decisions of Tony Vitello in terms of the lineup. And I think they're going to be set up well with pitching as well. Weekend rotation should be really good. How they manage the midweek is going to be fascinating to me, because that's one where now with the reduced rosters, I think the need for a midweek starter is there. A guy who can give you – you're not going to throw 10 guys on a weeknight. I just don't see it happening, not with the reduced roster at this point. Last thing I want to touch on, of course, I did some videos last week, talked about Tony Vitello and the majors, specifically the Giants and the Braves. I don't see the Braves happening. I don't see it. And honestly, I don't think there's a high probability of the Giants happening. I've seen where Posey is interviewing catchers right now. I saw where Kurt Suzuki managed. Who was it? Voigt, that used to play with the A's. He played with a lot of teams. He's interviewed from what I've seen, I believe, as well. But it seems like Posey's kind of focusing on catchers. But this whole thing to me with the Giants is quirky enough to where I'm keeping my eye on it. Vitello and Posey have a relationship. They've apparently, according to Andrew Baggerly of The Athletic, might have met out in Colorado at one point when the Giants played out there. Vitello was out there in person. I don't know what the relationship is between Posey and Vitello, but I've read it in numerous places now. There is a relationship there. I think there's a reason Vitello's name's getting mentioned. I don't necessarily know that he's looking to jump to the majors. I don't know if it's agent driven or what it is, but it's not a coincidence that he's been mentioned twice with jobs now. And to me, both of those jobs are good jobs too. Obviously, I'm biased with the Braves. I had people trying to tell me how the Braves work. I've been a Braves fan for over 40 years. I followed the team from when they couldn't win a freaking game in Fulton County Stadium. I understand the Braves just fine and how they work with it. The Giants took a real interest in them this year, especially after Drew Gilbert went in. That team looks like a Tony Vitello team. With it said, I think he'll be in Knoxville. I hope he's in Knoxville. I'm keeping my eye on that one, though. I just think it's quirky enough to where until a decision is made on a manager, it's something to keep an eye on. But I'm wrapping up on that one. Frank, House of Orange, guys, have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you when I see you.